Oh, hello, yes, welcome to another Sonic the Hedgehog set review. This time we are looking at set number 76995, Shadow's Escape. Well, my original copy, I bought mine off Amazon originally. I bought mine from Amazon originally. So I found it in game, and you know what, I'll just buy it off Amazon. Anyway, there's a photo of Shadow on the side of the box. Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic the Hedgehog. Yes, excuse the noise in there because it's bag 2. Because it's bag 2. The back of the box, you get that build. You get the tube for Shadow. You get his bike. You get a Rhinox. It's basically a 2-bag build. On the top of the box, you get you get a minifigure and a little build, which is here, which is in his bag at the moment. Anyway, without further ado, we'll have a look. Theoretically, I can have a look at the Shadow minifigure, what I've got here at the moment. Further ado, let's have a look at the minifigure first, before we go into the builds. Right, here's Shadow, the first minifigure of Shadow the Hedgehog. The ultimate life form. I do apologise if my light isn't great. Oh god, now I've moved it all. Typical me, isn't it? Yeah. I can edit it when I'm doing it. Yes. This is the first version of Shadow which you want if you want the Shadow's Escape. That's your original Shadow the Hedgehog minifig. But I do have the second version. Do apologise about my extra light. Because I need it for the minifig, and then it brightens it up a bit. It's just a bit bright. As I say, I can edit it in Photoshop. Right, I'm going to put Shadow on the right. I'm going to put Sonic in from the Campfire set. We'll put from 777-001, which there will be a review soon. There will be a review of the set soon. Not right now. There's Sonic. I'll put a card in once I've done the review for it. The next minifigure is Metal Sonic. My first version of Metal Sonic. There's Metal Sonic. I will put a card in this one because I've done it with the Tails vs Cyclone review. I will put a card in if you want to see the review of Metal Sonic review. Next thing, I'll move on to the next minifigure. There's another minifigure I want to compare it with. One more minifig is going to be Captain Rex from the Microfighter, the Y-Wing. I will put a link card in that one for Captain Rex. Lovely. There's a Clone Trooper and a Hedgehog. Yes, as I say, I will brighten up the Shadow minifig. Without further ado, we'll get on to the builds. Right, here's one of the builds, which is the bike. I'm sure you're all familiar with this bike. Shadow's personal bike. With that logo, I'm sure you've seen it in All Stars Racing. I like the build. Then it's simple to put Shadow on. You just put his hands in, get the minifigure set up, then you just sit him on the bike and then you get him to grab the handles. Well, without anything breaking, of course. Yeah, if I can get the Hedgehog to sit. Yeah, bear with me. I just got to try and get the Hedgehog to sit down so he can hold the handlebars. So I can get the Hedgehog to hold the handlebars. He was being stored on the AT-80 for a while. Now I've got to get the minifig sat down. There we are. There he is. He's on the bike. There he is on his bike. You can just knock, you can either knock Rhinox off, or you could just take this gun hunter and just go boom. Or knock the gun hunter over. There he is, there's the bike. Then the next build we're going to look at is Rhinox. Next. Right, here's the build. There's Rhinox. I don't know where the plucky is for it, but you know what? Let's just take this little tortoise, for example. We'll take this little tortoise. Just chuck him in there. You see the turtle in there? Let's just chuck the turtle in there. Anyway, there's one thing I want to compare with him, is to compare it with the gun hunter. There he is, there's the gun hunter, one of the builds from the campfire, and there's a Rhinox. Which is, it's good to see more bat necks in the set. Let's move the gun hunter out the way, put him back in his respective bag. Yes, he's a nice little build. He's a nice good build. His head can move, and his top can move. It looks like a rhino. If someone was clever enough to put some wheels on it, like some wheels on him, that'd be quite cool. He's a real rhino. Right. The next part is we'll do the other half of the build, which I will need to build, and then I will review it. Right, here's the other part of the build. It's like Shadow's tube. Basically, you just open that up. Then you go ahead and put the figure in. You go ahead and put the figure in. Go ahead, put the figure in. If I can remember, if I can zoom in, go ahead, put the figure in. Put the barricade up. Oh God, this is not working for me at the moment. I've got to try and put the minifigure in. Got to put the minifigure in. So you've got to put Shadow in. Then seal it up. Then seal it up like so. And then you see that little function there? Then Shadow can rise. We'll do it again. Once more. Once more. That's the function to the set. The wasp stripe is the function. There we go. Now you can take your minifigure out. You take your minifigure out of it. Right, now the next thing is I'll talk about the overall of the set. Let me just put all this back together. Right, here's the whole set. Excuse the bag. There's mine. That's for Rhinox. Well, anyway, if you want this set, you can get it off Amazon for about like 15 to 20 quid. Same price as this one. Same price as this one. That's 2024. The other one's 2025. Because this is the first version of Shadow. First version of Shadow minifig. If you want it, I recommend it. Now, I'm going to have to end this review here, so I can upload it in case anyone pops in. And I'll see you lovelies in another video. Ta-ta. There might be some Sonic crossplay gameplay after release. I'll see you folks in another video.